What's up everybody? Julia here, and today I'll be sharing you my most prized possession. So a little bit about this item that I have. It's something that I hold very dearly to me because it's one of the OG things that actually got me into animation. And if you guys don't already know what it is, I'm gonna hint at it a little bit more for you. Definitely something I was obsessed with when I saw it on cable. Pretty much researched about the series and found out that they actually had a physical story to share. And what I mean by that is these mangas right behind me, right here. If you guys don't know what series I'm talking about, it's this series in particular, Cardcaptor Sakura. Now, this series is pretty much about a girl who opens up this book. And this book contains a whole bunch of cards that's kind of similar to Pandora's box, where she kind of lets all the evils out. And so it's pretty much up to her to save the world and recapture all these cards and place them back into this book. And so with this series, I really enjoyed the artwork and I really enjoyed the story. And this just pretty much got me hooked into just reading up on cartoons, animations, anime, like anything that you name it. And definitely with these mangas, these are books that I really appreciate their artwork in. Because I mean, look at this, look at this. Look at the story. Okay, sorry, I kind of have this thing where I can't really open the book all the way because I'm really afraid of like ruining the binding of the glue, but that's just me. But I'm just gonna do it for you guys, okay? So it's just, if you could kind of see like how the artwork is and how much time you can imagine each artist does to like just go ahead and draw these. Like, look how detailed this is. And I really actually enjoyed this artist in particular. It's actually a group of females called Clamp, C-L-A-M-P, and they're very talented, and I've always enjoyed their stories, and you can pretty much say that I follow them to death. Like, I have other series from them besides Cardcaptor Sakura. This is actually the second set of mangas that they released, and this is probably my favorite one. I do have the original one behind me, but you know, I have a whole bunch of mangas, but this is my most prized. All my other mangas are pretty prized too, but this, if there was a fire, I would save this. They've done other series like Chobits, as well as Tsubasa, which is also another favorite of mine. Their artwork and their style is a little different as well. So where I store these, as you can see, I kind of store them behind me in this little bookshelf here. I've been meaning to build a bookshelf just so I can place them neatly across, but if you guys kind of see my room, or if you check out Gio's vlog, you kind of get the gist of how my room looks like. So there's not really much space, or if there is, it's very cluttered, but I just keep my books here, and yeah, they've just grown over time. When I was first introduced to anime, I think it was probably around 2nd grade. And that obsession pretty much grew over time. And I remember in middle school, no, actually, yeah, 2nd grade was when I watched Cardcaptor Sakura. And then over time, watched more anime, watched more anime. And I think my brother saw that I had a liking to it. And he bought me a set of manga called Imadoki. This collection right here. This is probably the first manga collection that I've ever received, and it was actually from my brother. He knew that I liked it, or he knew that I like anime, so he thought that maybe I might like the mangas, because he went into a Borders bookstore and he asked one of the girls, like, hey, what series do you think is a good series for like maybe my sister to read? And somebody recommended Imadoki, and I actually really enjoyed it a lot. And then from there, I realized, you know what, like these books and these pictures, they're actually pretty awesome. Like, I've enjoyed the story, I enjoy the character development, and you know, just seeing how these drawings go, it kind of makes me a little jealous that I wish that I could kind of draw in this way. And so I realized, like, you know what? I wonder if Cardcaptor Sakura actually has a manga, and then I went to check it out, and they did, and it's probably one of the best series I've ever read that I pretty much fell in love with, because, and only because, I feel like the story is most accurate in it. Because if you watch the anime, especially the American dubbed anime, oh, I I swear, they butcher it. And it kills me inside. Like, if two characters are supposed to go out on a date, they don't say that it's a date. They just say, oh, we're just gonna go to a museum. What museum? It's supposed to be a freaking date. If they're going out on a date, they should go on a date. America, why are you censoring that type of stuff? I mean, I don't get it. But, I don't know. American dubbed anime, sorry, like, I can't really trust it very much because I feel like they try to alter the story and censor certain things, and I don't enjoy that. And in the Japanese anime, it tries to stay relatively close to the manga, but there's some variations in it, which I don't really mind, but I feel that the manga stays true to how the story is, and that's what I enjoy the most about them. So between these two, between the one that my brother got and between the one that I personally got, I enjoy this more just because Cardcaptor Sakura was the first series that I've ever watched on TV and the first introduction into anime. And so to actually read the original storyline, like, this is very dear to my heart. Like, honestly, this is the type of artwork that really got me into just drawing illustrations or just even watching anime and even more anime. So when I first read the mangas, I thought that the artwork was amazing and beautiful, and I wanted to look up more on the artist and who did it. And when I looked it up, I thought, I was like, whoa, they're female artists, all of them? Like, there's 4 of them. That's pretty OG and that's pretty gangster. And at that time, I was thinking, you know what? Like, I think female artists, like, if these female artists can make it out there, maybe I can too. And I just thought that it was pretty cool that they've created a whole bunch of different series, and they created a series that I like and connect in particular because it's about a girl who has a very weak character in the beginning, but towards the end she grows stronger, and I felt like that's somebody that I wanted to be, and that's, I think every girl can relate to. I mean, same thing with Sailor Moon too, but Cardcaptor Sakura is better in my opinion. I know if I were to read this series right now, it would definitely bring me back to a very nostalgic point in my life when I first read them and the feelings that I got from reading them, which was, wow, this is mind-blowing. I hate reading, but this is great because I'm visually stimulated as well as engaged into the story. And for me, like, I've really enjoyed how the story goes, and especially the love story in this. I mean, you can kind of call me a little hopeless romantic, but just reading it just kind of gave me butterflies every single time, because every time maybe one of the main characters was very close with one of the guy characters, I'll be like, oh my god, like, I can't believe it. It's like, no way. You know, it's like definitely fangirling all the time. And honestly, I wouldn't trade this particular series for anything in the world, just because they, like, again, this is the first series that introduced me into art and to appreciate art and like how much time and detail it takes to create something like this. And it's not something that I feel most people tend to pay attention to. And so every time I read it, it always brings really good feelings to me. So what I mean by details and what most people might not appreciate is just how fine and minute things are. So for example, like this, it's very, very fine. And then you have like all the background coloring, and then you just see the details, like every strand of her hair, and then you have like all these actions going on. And look how intricate this design is right here in particular. It's kind of like, I think when you're reading something, it just goes off into passing, but if you actually pay attention to everything, it's like, wow, like, I can't believe they actually spend the time to draw something so small like this that may even get looked over. And I think that's what I appreciate the most, is because these artists, they spend the time to make these illustrations come to life and almost close to perfection too. And again, that's something that I've truly enjoyed. I mean, come on. Like, you can't look at these. And then there's so many different elements that go onto each page. Like how they structure everything, how each page is, and the layout of each page, it gives a different vibe. And I feel like not many books can actually do that, or I guess comics can actually do that. And if they do, then they're very successful because, let's say in this part, you're kind of feeling a little stressed or a little anxious because there's so much movement going on that you don't even know what's happening. Whereas, maybe here, it's a more calmer setting where, it's very organic, it's very open. There's, you feel more relaxed when you see this versus if you see something like this, it's like, oh my god, like what's going on? or like maybe again more of the complicated ones like here, with the action scenes. Like these artists, they actually take the time to give you an emotional roller coaster and to tell their story successfully. Because if you're reading something and you start to feel like you're anxious or you're angry or you're scared or you're like, aw, then I think that's a very successful book, in my opinion. If a fire were to happen, I would most definitely grab this particular series because they don't print these anymore. They don't print this book, they don't print it in this format anymore. And again, this is something that I've cherished because this was one of the stepping stones that kind of molded me into what I liked and what I wanted to do. Versus the pictures behind me, I feel like those are just ways to keep memories. And if they were really important in my life, I would actually remember them in my heart more so than just having to remember them physically by seeing them. I mean, seeing them is really nice, but not as nice as these. I think when I got this series, it was around middle school, and I know that it ended probably around my 8th grade, and I loved the last book. It was definitely my favorite because it completed the love line that was happening between the two main characters. And again, it stars a girl named Sakura, and then they have another dude named Sharon, I don't know. However you pronounce that, I feel like I butchered every single time. But he's a boy from China. And I thought he was really cute. And he was definitely my anime crush. For the longest time, I think if anything, he would be my #1 crush. And you kind of see this love story kind of developing over time. And you kind of see this guy having a crush on this girl. And she has no idea what's going on. And by the time the last book happened, it just completed my whole circle. Because it was just such a cute romance, and at that time, again, hopeless romantic. I love cute things, and it's just to see something unravel. It's like, oh, you're so close. It's like, okay, next time, you got this next time. Or it's just like, he did it for you, not for him. Stuff like that. So I would say that I was an introvert when I was younger. But in middle school, I guess you can say that I slowly tried to become an extrovert or just be more friendly or be more open with people. And with this particular series, I still feel like that I was an introvert that wanted to be lost in somebody else's world and just to kind of understand their life. And with these books, it definitely took me to a different place, and it kind of helped me a little bit in terms of social skills. So what I mean by in terms of social skills, I mean that maybe there was a joke that I found really funny and I wanted to put into practice and see how people react to it. Sometimes it was successful, sometimes it wasn't, but it was definitely an icebreaker in terms of just making friends. And if they actually read this series like me, then that's another way for me to actually connect with other people because like, oh, you read this? Me too! Isn't this awesome? Like, did you read the last volume? Like, did you see what happened? Like, I felt that this actually kind of helped me in many ways in connecting with others who actually share the same type of interests as me. If you guys truly enjoy anime and mangas, I would highly recommend that you guys actually buy the physical copy because for me, it's important that these artists survive and I want them to continue to create content for us and to create stories and illustrations for us. And so for me, whenever I bought a book or bought a manga, I was like, yeah, support the artist. And you guys should because this is a part of their income. And this is one way for you that you actually show support for them. And so if you guys love reading manga, like please buy the books, please. Hey guys, so I hope you enjoyed this episode of My Prized Possession. If you guys did, please give it a thumbs up. And if you guys know what the series is, please leave a comment down below and tell me which one was your favorite part because I want to gush about it too. I want to read about it and be like, yeah, that's my favorite part too. It's like, yeah, I know. Like, why did that happen? And if you guys want to watch more prize possession videos, click over here.
When I first got this as a gift, I watched this like 10 times the first week or so, probably more than that. And I continued watching it throughout my elementary school to high school, middle school, high school, overall probably over 100 times, which is really interesting. Why I would watch a movie 100